Good?
All good.
All set?
Yeah.
Evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the July 11th, 2022 regular meeting of the Gladstone City Council and call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, all four current members of the City Council are present and we have a quorum. We have one vacancy on the council following the resignation of Tom Frisbee. We all wish Tom well as he pursues his dream to become a professional dancer. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting. We have a very short agenda since it's the season premiere of The Bachelorette this evening. Are there any changes to tonight's agenda?
No.
Hearing none, agenda is approved. We'll move on to item 5, approval of the minutes from the June 27th, 2022 closed City Council meeting.
Mayor Garnis.
Councilman Malams.
I move to accept the minutes from the June 27th, 2022 closed City Council meeting.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion? None. All those in favor of approving the June 27th, 2022 closed City Council meeting minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes are hereby approved. Item 6 is approval of the minutes from the June 27th, 2022 regular City Council meeting.
Mayor Garnis.
Councilman Mallam.
I move to accept the minutes from the June 27th, 2022 regular City Council meeting.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the June 27th, 2022 regular City Council meeting minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The minutes are hereby approved. We have no proclamations on this evening's agenda. It's the first time I can remember in a long time we haven't had any excruciatingly long proclamations, so I'm going to proclaim no proclamations for this evening. Item 7, communications from the audience. If there's any member of the audience who would like to address City Council on a matter that is not on this evening's agenda, please step to the podium and give your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Donald Good. I'm at 4105 Northeast 63rd Street in Gladstone. I'm here representing the Carriage Hill 7 through 9 HOA and neighborhood. Reference topic Airbnbs. We're having additional problems just in the last 6 to 8 weeks that are documented with problems with Airbnbs. Now the neighboring HOA neighborhood next to us is Carriage Hill 1 through 6. They have one that they've had there since 2020, and I'm concerned about theirs in addition to ours because it's being used and advertised as a commercial business for alternative medicine owned by Stormer Enterprises LLC. Stormer Enterprises owns that one and the one that we have now. The concerns come down to safety, property value, property damage. We're having trash problems with the city has engaged when we call appropriately for violations of trash being out there either too early or too many bags, and the owners had to correct it. But we're having this every weekend. We're having it every week with these problems, and this has only been in service with Airbnb for 6 to 8 weeks on this particular house. Now the house in question is 4008 Northeast 62nd Terrace. It was sold by a former neighbor, quick sale, Airbnb, same owner like I mentioned, but we're looking at the city ordinance, I believe we're zoned there for an R1 zoning, and that's a maximum of 10 people in the household, 2 per bed, 2 per room. And right now, that one's being advertised as 14 people. We're having baseball teams show up over there. We're having family gatherings where people are jumping fences in the neighbors' yards. They are playing baseball and being loud and obnoxious at 11 o'clock at night or starting mowing at 7 a.m. In addition, multiple cars, as up to 8 at a time, blocking sidewalks, blocking driveways on the same street and neighborhood. I mentioned the kids jumping the fence. this was June 12th that specifically happened. June 13th, our HOA had a board meeting with a lot of frustrated, angry neighbors in our neighborhood reference these Airbnbs. What we want to prevent for sure is the same thing that happened and was reported by Fox 4 News on March 21st about the murder in Overland Park at an Airbnb. And since then, Airbnbs have put in a strict rule with no heavy party tolerance. That rule is not applying here right now because they're not having heavy parties, but they're still being disruptive. The language in covenants and bylaws can be taken, legally with different generalities, but I don't think we can do this on our own, especially with a big Airbnb company. I'm here on behalf of the neighborhood requesting, ultimately we'd love to restrict them from the city altogether, but in a residential neighborhoods, can we get tighter restrictions or ordinances that will close the gaps on these, either where they're not allowed in these neighborhoods or they're zoned licensed appropriately? Because just in 2 months' time, it has been a massive disruption for our neighborhood and taken a lot of hours of research. The owner versus the management people are two different people on these houses also, and that's concerning. We don't have proof right now that there's alternative medicine being done at the Carriage Hill 7 to 9 house, which is the 4008 address, but we do, and it's advertised through the Airbnb and the medical site for the other one on North Bales. They're both owned. We're concerned about them both following the same path. Again, excess vehicles, late noise, early morning yards make noise, and the crime that could potentially be coming that way, along with the depreciation of the property values. Past that, I don't know what to ask for. It's just, we could use some help from the city. There's different zoning requirements, and this one particularly has not, like I said, hasn't been used yet as a business per se, but it is an Airbnb, and the same company's running both within the same 2 neighborhoods. It's very concerning. So, I don't know what else is next.
Yeah, no, I appreciate your comments. I think it's for some of those exact same reasons that I believe isn't city staff working on a draft of an ordinance specifically addressing the Airbnb issue?
We're working on 2 things. We're working on an interpretation of our existing code to see if we can be supportive of the Carriage Hills neighborhoods and the Airbnbs, as well as the addition of the short-term stay ordinance that the council just reviewed a few weeks ago. So I think we're supporting Carriage Hills, both neighborhoods, pretty heavily. Additionally, Director Greer is part of a metro-wide conversation on this topic to see how other cities are discussing it and thinking about it. We're far ahead of those conversations here in the city of Gladstone, and I know that the leaders of both neighborhoods have committed a little bit of funds to hire a lawyer to interpret their covenants and hopefully enforce them. So I think we're working in partnership with both neighborhoods while keeping the larger city in mind as we sort of suggest recommendations to you moving forward.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I hope that's going to help. Up until this moment, it kind of felt like we were trying to be proactive on that issue because we were trying to develop proper ordinances to address that, knowing that it's happened elsewhere and that we didn't want it to happen in Gladstone. But
yeah, it's here and moving.
But it's here and it's around the metro, so we're maybe not being completely proactive, but we're on it.
Okay.
So.
Any estimates, like just for me to bring back the types of changes that might come in this ordinance? Is that available yet, or we're still early?
Yeah, so we're coordinating with the executive director of your Carriage Hills plats and the president of the 1 through 6 plats, and so that's probably the best way to communicate is through them because we're in very frequent conversation with the 2 leaders of those neighborhoods to see what we can do. If we can come up with a definition that supports, then we'll share that.
Absolutely.
Share that with them, and then kind of single point of contact, if that's okay.
Absolutely. I do want to thank the council for listening to this, and I don't know if this is the first time. Absolutely, it hasn't been the first time it's been brought up since you've working on an ordinance. So, thank you for your time.
Yeah, no, appreciate that, and appreciate you bringing us the issue because we've, only heard about it in generalities as a possibility, up until this point, which is why we were trying to deal with it. So I appreciate you, telling us what it's like in real life and that it's here. So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Are there any other communications from the audience? Anybody else that would like to address City Council on a matter that's not on this evening's agenda? If not, we'll move on to communications from City Council. Item number 8. As you may recall, at our last meeting, we appointed Spencer Davis to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, and since then we have had a vacancy on the Planning Commission. I believe when we interviewed Mr. Davis, we all felt that he'd be a perfect fit on the Planning Commission. And now that there's a vacancy, I'd like to entertain a motion to rescind his appointment to the Parks and Rec Advisory Board and appoint Spencer Davis to the Planning Commission instead.
Mayor Garnis. I would move that we rescind the appointment of Spencer Davis to the Parks Commission and instead appoint him to our Planning Commission.
Perfect.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to rescind the appointment of Spencer Davis to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board and appoint Mr. Davis to the Planning Commission instead. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of rescinding the appointment and appointing Mr. Davis to the Planning Commission instead signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Spencer Davis is hereby appointed to the Planning Commission. Congratulations. May God have mercy on you. Other comments from Council. Councilmember Spallo.
Thank you, Mayor. Big congratulations to Theater in the Park, Justin and all your staff. Great show over the weekend and all the hard work. And we know what hard work was taking place today with taking down that stage in this heat. There is nothing fun about doing that. I've pulled a few nails out of that stage in my lifetime, and I know that it's hard work. So congratulations to the cast and crew on a great show, and we'll look forward to our next show, Little Abner. So, and also, there's something that came up in our EFYIN was Northland Neighborhoods, Inc. is sponsoring a candidates forum on Wednesday night, July 20th, and that will be at their offices over off of the old Antioch Mall. And it's an opportunity for you as a citizen to see all the candidates that are running for the county positions that are now available due to the new Constitution. Unfortunately, I will not be able to make it that evening. Really would like to do so, but I think it's a good thing to be involved and to go out and listen to all the new candidates and what they have to say.
Thank you. Councilman Malams.
No comments this evening, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
Nothing from me either.
I just wanted to say how much I enjoyed the Independence Day celebration at Oak Grove Park. It was a lovely evening. It's nice seeing so many people and families in the park on lawn chairs and on blankets once again, enjoying the music and the fireworks. One of my favorite things to do in Gladstone. Thank you also to Councilmember Spallo and Mayor Pro Tem Moore for joining me on stage for the welcome. And I'd also like to mention that on Thursday this week is the State of the Cities and Counties Luncheon, where I'll get the opportunity to brag about all the great things going on in Gladstone to our sister and rival cities in the Northland. Thank you, Austin, for your assistance putting together the presentation, and Councilman Malams for getting us halfway there with your State of the City address, which I'll be stealing for that purpose. Thank you. Item 9, communications from the City Manager, Mr. Wingerson.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. Just a couple of things. Our police department moved late last week to their temporary home for the next year, 14, 18 months, over at Prospect Plaza near the Early Education Center. So a big shout out to the school district for their support of that partnership. And also a big shout out to the men and women who helped do the physical move. We hired a mover for part of the stuff, but there's always those things that don't get done. And so there were several jacks of all trades that participated in that, led by Assistant City Manager Bear and carried out by the members of the department. So we're thankful for their efforts in that regard. As it relates to here, you may have noticed the construction fence went up. It's a milestone in construction terms. So there'll be some screening put up, and demolition will start into this week, first part of next week, and then we get going. So super excited around here. Echo Councilmember Spallo's comments about Legally Blonde. I wasn't able to attend this weekend, but I heard it was well attended and enjoyed by all. And the outdoor pool continues to just kick tail. So we're excited about that. People are enjoying that amenity.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to item 10, the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, will you please explain and read the consent agenda?
A consent agenda allows the City Council to consider and approve routine items of business without discussion. Any member of the City Council, the city staff, or the public may request removal of any item from the consent agenda and request that it be considered under the regular agenda if discussion or debate of the item is desired. Items not removed from the consent agenda will stand approved upon motion by any council member, second and unanimous vote to approve the consent agenda as published or modified. Consent agenda. Consider special event permits. Good Shepherd Church Service, Linden Square, Sunday, August 28th, 2022, 8 o'clock a.m. to 12 o'clock p.m. Good Shepherd Church hosting disc golf tournament, Hobby Hill Park, Sunday, July 17th, 2022, 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock p.m. Resolution R-22-32, a resolution authorizing acceptance of work under contract with Metro Asphalt Incorporated for the 2021 Mill and Overlay Program Project, TP2206, and authorizing final payment in the amount of $7,844.51. Resolution R-22-33, a resolution authorizing acceptance of work under contract with Site Right Construction Company for the Northeast 76th Street and North Tracy Storm Drainage Improvements Project, CP2131, and authorizing final payment in the amount of $500. Resolution R-22-34, a resolution authorizing acceptance of work under contract with Ace Pipe Cleaning Incorporated for the 2021 Sewer Cleaning and Televising Project, SP2189, and authorizing final payment in the amount of $3,438.85.
Thank you. Does any member of the audience request the removal of any item from the consent agenda for discussion? City Council?
No.
Mr. City Manager?
No, sir.
Is there a motion?
Mayor Mallon. Mayor Garnos.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore?
I'm just behind you, RD, sorry. I move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as listed. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as listed, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Consent agenda is approved. We'll move on with our regular agenda. Item 11, Resolution 22-35, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with Superior Bowen Asphalt Company, LLC, in the total amount not to exceed $1,496,617.20 for the 2022 Mill and Overlay Program Project TP2306.
Mayor Garnos.
Councilmember Spallo.
I move to accept Resolution 22-35.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 22-35. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting Resolution 22-35 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Resolution is hereby adopted. Item 12 is Resolution 22-36, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute and file project applications seeking water and sewer infrastructure grant funding through the Community Grant Program administered by the Missouri Department of Natural Resources.
Mayor Garnes,
Councilman Mallon.
I move to adopt resolution number 22-36.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 22-36. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting Resolution 22-36 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Resolution is hereby adopted. Item 13, Resolution 22-37, a resolution ratifying a time and materials contract with Kissick Construction Company in the total amount not to exceed $100,000 for the 6 Northwest 65th Terrace Emergency Sanitary Sewer Replacement Project, SP2387.
Mayor Garnos.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
I move for the adoption of Resolution R-22-37.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 22-37. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting Resolution 22-37 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Resolution is hereby adopted. Item 14, Resolution 22-38, a resolution ratifying a time and materials contract with David E. Ross Construction Company in the total amount not to exceed $75,000 for the Water Treatment Plant East Secondary Basin Emergency Repair Project, WP 2385.
Mayor Garnis,
Councilman Mallon.
I move to adopt resolution number 22-38.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 22-38. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting Resolution 22-38 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Resolution is hereby adopted. Resolution 22-39, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with Ace Pipe Cleaning Incorporated in the total amount not to exceed $86,870 for the 2022 Sewer Cleaning and Televising Project, SP 2389.
Mayor Garnis,
Councilmember Spallo.
I move to approve Resolution 22-39.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 22-39. Is there any discussion? No comments about this being the worst local government television channel ever? No further discussion. All those in favor of adopting Resolution 22-39 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Resolution is hereby adopted. Item 16, other business. Is there any other business for the City Council this evening?
Mayor Garnis,
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
I have received word from former Councilman Frisbee to pass word to you that his dancing career is off to a roaring start.
Wow, really didn't think you'd be watching.
There you have it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If there's nothing further for the City Council, we are adjourned.